Hello, neighbors. Welcome to our part 2 of hanging out here with our fun little neighbor, Michael from True Anomaly Brewing Company here in Houston, Texas. So what's going on, all you fun neighbors out there? Welcome. And Philip, hello to you.
Yeah, hey, buddy. So part 1, you got me on the slide into the mic, and part 2, he gets me mid-sip. I think I'm being sabotaged here.
I just get excited. I'm ready to roll.
I know you are. I know you are.
But anyway, let's go on this journey because we are going to be talking with Michael a little bit more about these beautiful beers that he has brought, award-winning beers that he has brought. We're actually going to put him to the test as well, see if he can find his own beer at a little bit of a taste test. And we're going to talk a little bit about some Houston fun that you guys can have with brewing in the area.
Ooh, let's get into it.
Welcome to Neighbors Don't Knock, the show that brings you hilarious, unapologetic conversations only these neighbors can have. Join them and guests in their weekly mission to expand the neighborhood. Now, here's your hosts, Brian Chambers and Philip Goffrey.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, all you neighbors out there.
Hey.
Hey, if you haven't, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That little notification bell will tell you when new episodes drop. Go ahead right now. We'll wait. Hit it. Do it. Click it. Anyway, we thank you guys for joining us here on Neighbors Don't Knock and welcoming Michael also again.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, I feel like we can do better than that.
That was better. We'll take it. All right. Yeah.
Michael's like, that is a
100%.
relative concept here. Honestly, y'all, if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to part 1 of this episode, I highly recommend that you do. Michael gave us a little bit of the history of True Anomaly Brewing and his history as a wheeler and dealer for NASA right here in the greater Houston area. So it was a really, really good listen. It's worth checking out. It's a good lead
Which
up to
apparently
today.
working at NASA leads you to drink and start beer companies. So we're getting to the bottom of that.
Yeah, we're
right
not the
now.
only ones. That's right. That's right.
It's a very competitive market.
I have
NASA was like, we lost another one.
We got to edge them out.
I have tremendously high confidence that quite a lot of the space program was come up with overdrinks somehow on almost every level, I think.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, it's got to be a lot of stress over there, like the air traffic controller or something,
But you
but on
go
a larger level.
They used to allow them to smoke back there too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The old school
All
days,
that
right?
nicotine stress, yellow fingers everywhere.
Is that why they had to get new like spaces and upgrade everything? Because like the smoke is just living in all the old equipment.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Buff grade here,
right? I mean, okay. I think I've heard this by some other employees that have worked there, but correct me if I'm wrong. On your first day, or I guess your first early year, do they have you guys sleep over
and
they show you this? They do show you the
first day.
Okay, besides the aliens, do they have you guys? I've heard rumors that they make you watch Apollo 13 in Mission Control where it actually happened.
So that is a thing that happens.
Okay, it is a thing that happens. Okay.
So I will say, here's the thing, though. It's actually a very special occurrence. It doesn't just happen for any old bloke that gets hired. It's usually,
got it. Okay.
It's usually because there's a organized segment or maybe your new employee orientation or something like that, and they group you together and you get an opportunity to go do that. So we had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to go do that. I also had a very special opportunity to go do that with Gene Krantz, actually. Commentate and give a lecture at the beginning and throughout the showing, which was a whole nother level. People probably would have paid good money for that.
Oh my God.
I was very poor, so I'm glad they allowed me to do that at the time as a college student.
I would have paid a lot of money to do that. That was awesome. But I mean, was it weird? Did he ever mention how weird it was to see himself being portrayed on the screen? Like,
No.
after that,
Yeah,
no.
If you knew Gene's is true to personality. I think the one they had up there is pretty spot on.
I think it was Ed Harris played Gene
Yeah.
Kranz in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, it's good enough.
It was good.
Yeah, looks good. Yeah. All right,
right,
he
so-
did the job.
So here's a question about that. So when you're with a whole bunch of fellow NASA people and you're watching the movie, does the Constellation Urine line still get a laugh? No, falls on deaf ears, right?
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Same result it got here.
That was my prediction.
Here, Philip, this is the reaction you wanted.
Totally. Yeah. I remember watching that movie and like everyone was giggling at that line. I was like, oh, really, guys?
No, they're over it. Nerds are the new cool kids these days. Everybody's sporting those NASA shirts and really supporting the moon. It's great.
Well, for those of you that are just tuning in via on YouTube or, we're not on live TV, so I don't know why I said just tuning in, but, I can dream, right? But if you guys heard our previous episode of part 1 with Michael, we talked about his beer company, True Anomaly Brewing, here in Houston, Texas. Also, he was worked at NASA. And everyone actually with the company worked at NASA. They came together and started this brewing company. And we're going to dive into a little bit of a quick taste test here because last time we were drinking some really nice beer.
Small Giant. That's
Small
right.
Giant.
It's a grisette. It's a summer saison.
Ooh, fancy.
Do you have a different voice for each,
yeah,
each type of beer? Or?
This is Scout.
Mexican style lager. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
It's right here. For those of you that are listening, it looks wonderful.
It does. Where's that little guy in the corner? What's that little? Keep turning.
Oh,
No, keep turning. Keep
little-
turning. Keep turning. Ooh, what's that say?
Oh, it says I don't even have glasses.
Oh,
American
no.
a beer festival. Oh, something beer festival.
Silver medal, Great American Beer Festival.
There it is.
Thank you
There
for
it is,
filling in
Brian.
there.
There it
Thanks
is.
for
I can
pointing
see
that
it.
one out. That was great. Look at you there. What a quality product.
We've been tasting for a while now. so yes, okay. So for the American Beer Festival, it was a 2021 silver finishing.
Right. There you go.
So
Yeah.
awesome. So now,
Congrats on that.
Congrats
Thank you.
on that.
Yeah. That's the Oscars. That's the Oscars.
That is the
That's
Oscar.
the national
Okay.
one.
Got it. Okay. So we put that one to the test of 2 other similar style beers that we didn't tell Michael which beer was in what cup. So we're going to let him just kind of taste. And we do have a little dump pitcher for those that...
I feel
We're just
that'll be
gonna go at this,
utilized.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's see what he's going to do with this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A little buttery on that one.
It was a little buttery.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get through these quick. Don't you worry. All right. here we
Okay.
go.
You
That was
don't need
number
to
one.
like water and spit and wash. No, you're like,
I think I can tell excellence
Oh,
between
okay.
piss. We'll find out. Okay, yeah, that's nice. All right, that was number 2. I don't remember.
That was number 2,
3,
yeah.
all right. Don't give this one to anybody. I don't know who got that one. All right, this looks like our product here.
okay. So
and,
which one do you feel was yours?
This guy right here, the one that is crisp and clear and wonderful.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Oh, hey, look at that!
Shocking.
Higher there, more cheers, more cheers.
More cheers.
Ah.
You got it. More cheers.
All right.
Shocking that you would
So-
find the one that you
I know.
enjoyed the most.
What were these other 2 piss-filled cups that we had?
The first one that you tried
Yeah.
was a Modelo.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to go after the local crowd, but just keeping it germane. Oh, look at you. Low-key shade.
So that was the Modelo. And then the third one was the Dos Equis.
And you can tell. That's the thing.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, congratulations.
So when you're at your
Yeah.
nearest establishment, you ask for a Scout from True Anomaly.
So, well done. Well done.
I like that. So that brings me to a question for our local listeners, especially. Where can they pick up your beers outside of the brewery?
We're HEB, Total Wine, Central Market. I mean, if you're retail, just looking to pick up a 4-pack, 6-pack, whatever. Most beer bars around town that are catering to craft beer, you can find us. Most retail locations. Again, if you're not seeing it there, let us know. Let them know.
Great.
What made this one so special? getting that silver medal.
Did you have some yet?
I have not. I have not tried it yet. I had to test you first, but no, I was tempted because the can was open.
So actually, we won this as a international lager. So again, there's about 100 plus styles, right? So you were talking wine, sommelier, whatever earlier, and just knowing the plethora of styles out there. Beer's no different, right? There's 100 plus styles that they have, judging criteria on that. Here's what the ideal style tastes like. Here's where you should fall into. Here's the range for those things. So for this international style, again, a light, easy drinker. This is about 4.5%. So ABV is taken into consideration. The look, the feel, the carbonation. Again, any off flavors, those are no-nos, right? We don't want anything like that. And a beer like this, and really why it's a point of pride for us as a brewery, a light lager, anything lighter in character is harder to mask any off flavors or ill effects of the beer, right? So the lighter it is, generally the more pure that you can take away the product from, and how pure and how clean or how proficient and efficient the brewing system cycle and process is, right? So for us, we're walking away, hey, this got a silver medal. It means it wasn't number one, number two, we'll take it, right? But at that level, quite honestly,
Podium finish, man.
Podium finish, you're walking away, you're a gnat's eyelash behind the next guy, good job, team. High fives.
Yeah.
And for us, the larger message there is we've taken away about a dozen different medals, accolades from various competitions, awards. So for us, it's just stringing together a, history and a, trend of quality beverages, right? So, hey, you're getting something from us. Hopefully, it's picking up the trend that this is a quality product. It's going to be in the style that we're looking for. Or if it's something more peculiar, like some of these we're about to dip in here very, very shortly,
all right.
then, it's tingling something in the back of your throat that you didn't even know it could happen. We're going to get to that.
So as we work our way into that, let me ask you about this more.
Well, you do that. I'm gonna have a little taste of this.
There you go. So with this particular type of lager, you're talking about it being much harder to mask anything that's weird, right? So there's probably less opportunity to get crazy creative with it. But is there anything about yours that you can give our listeners or our viewers without giving up any secrets about kind of what separates, your product apart with that style beer from, let's say, the crap from the grocery store that you just tasted?
Sure. Yeah. So again, it's quality products in, quality products out. A lot of people, I think, tend to forget that beer is a food product. So while we're used to seeing, cans on shelves or having cans in fridges for what seemed like eternity, right? At the end of the day, that really is a food product, right? It came out of grain, it came out of hops, yeast, right? The same thing that you make bread with, type basic elements, right? And bread's going to go bad. Beer goes bad too. Beer handled, processed incorrectly. Skunk beer we were talking about at one point in time. If it goes through, doesn't have proper cooling or not set in proper refrigeration, sits outside, comes back in. When you have macro beer, a lot of those things tend to happen. I mean, you're getting a product, it's getting shipped all around the nation, it's coming to you, it's hitting different trucks, different things. I mean, they can try their best, but at the end of the day, local's going to have a more, quality, refined, fresh product.
Yeah, I was hesitant to use the word fresh, but I'm glad that you did, because it sure sounds like that's a big part of it, right?
Oh, it is. And again, I don't
shorten that timeline from brewery to your mouth.
No, and you do. You want fresh product, just like anything else. You want fresh beer. You do. You really do. So, and 100%, go to local breweries, and even if they're not the best of the best, the freshness of their beer is still going to be better than half the random stuff you might pick up off the shelves, because it's sat on that shelf for months on lawn, or it was in travel for months on end that you didn't know about. So, you're going to get a Rolling Rock or a Modelo or a Corona or something, especially those light bottles. That's a big no-no, honestly. Anybody who's in the beer, industry, light struck beer, right? Anything that the actual sun UV can hit the side of the bottle and then make its way into, not great for the beer. So those light colored bottles, that's a selling point. That's not good for the beer. It's making the beer worse. That beer sits around, sat in an area, sat in a bar somewhere, where maybe the sun was hitting it, out in some, ice somewhere. It's not making it better.
Yeah, it's always that Corona commercial when they're on the beach in the pure sunlight, right, with the clear bottle.
It looks so nice, right?
Yeah.
And it is. It looks nice and refreshing, but that's a selling point. I mean, so we're being honest with each other. All right, cool.
Well, I mean, it's like commercials. They don't use real food sometimes, I mean, they'll put out fake.
Oh, mashed potatoes or butter.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly,
butter, because it holds, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can film for hours on end, and it's not going to
Absolutely, yeah.
stuff like that.
Although, do you feel that it's helping, just kind of jumping into the social aspect of the business, do you feel, especially recently with all this stuff with Bud Light and the commercials and all the spokespeople, and is that helping the smaller industries of the craft brew, like with how much turmoil that has gone through? Or are people really blowing it up? Is it really being, I should say, over exaggerated?
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sitting on those board meetings, so I don't know how it's affecting their bottom line. But from what I read, and I try to keep, it's my industry, I try to keep pretty close tabs on it. It does appear as though there's a prolonged and lasting impact from the backlash on the Bud Light stuff, right? So,
oh wow,
they stepped into the fray, got slapped on the hand from maybe their core users or whatever have you. And that particular brand style has, taken a hit, and it seems like it's prolonging. I mean, we're months in now, and sales are still down from what it looks like. That being said, that same conglomerate, AB InBev, they own many other brands that your everyday person might turn to. Let's say you were drinking Bud Light, now you're moving to Busch Light. Busch Light's still owned by those guys. So, while that segment style of beer went down for them, that's turning a couple knobs in the background, being like, all right, produce less of this, produce more of that, similar price points, similar styles, so I don't know how much it's actually impacting. And again, I mean, we'll see with their quarterlies or 10K or whatever comes out. And we really want to go dig into it. But at the end of the day, how is it actually affecting their bottom line? I have to imagine they're probably going to weather the storm okay. And in a different light and a different page from that, quite honestly, the segment of people that are being turned off by that messaging aren't necessarily going to get turned on by local craft beer. I can tell you, at True Anomaly and pretty much every other brewery that's local craft and supporting the local community, they're all pretty friendly to that same crowd, right? And that messaging isn't going to be any different. So if you've got an anti-LGBT, mindset, and that's not something, or a beer or a product, or, if it's a part of that, you're going to boycott it. Okay, that's great. But there aren't going to be too many local craft beers that you're going to be able to turn to that haven't embraced that same community as part of being in the community. Yeah. And that's something that, we talked about before, or talked about in the past, and, the general brew sense, like brew community is the one that serves who's serving it, right? And we serve everybody around us. We're over there in the East End. It's very divergent, culturally diverse. Everybody's welcome.
Houston in general, we're a very, very diverse city, and
and there's nobody in Houston. And again, this is from a business sense perspective. There's nobody in Houston that's going to say, "Oh no, we don't align with that community," or "We're going to have a stiff arm to that community," or anything else. You're going to ostracize more than you're going to gain. So from that perspective, where these beer drinkers are going that have an issue with this and can't associate them with a brand like Bud Light or Budweiser now, because now they decide to pick up the sponsorship that, again, any local craft brewery would probably do. Like, I don't know where they're going to go. So they're going to the Busch Light. They're going to, Natural Light. They're going to wherever that, Keystone or whatever have you, that, again, isn't probably much different than the parent company there. Or they're going to Miller Lite or Coors Light. And not for nothing, but if you went and actually did any modicum of research, all of those big brands have also aligned themselves with that same community in the past. I mean, you've had Coolers Mountains, Rocky Mountains with, rainbows behind it and great sunshines and everything else. So, again, it's not that, to me, that this is why it's a little bit inane, and I just don't necessarily understand this community at large, is that, every big beer brand has come out of the closet, per se, about supporting these communities, and every small brand has come out and supported these communities too. So if you're a beer drinker, like, I don't know where you're really taking your support to think that, like, oh, I'm carved out of this, because again, if you're a parent company, if you're AB InBev, that same parent company is still.
Yeah, it's arbitrary lines, right?
Yeah. Why are you drawing the line here and knowing that they're still doing these other things? Yeah. And I can guarantee you, again, there's no small business that it didn't boost us up that we got that, right? If that's like the bottom line.
Well, I just don't.
We're not seeing that as a direct translation. If anything, they moved to other big beer brands, or maybe they moved to other products, right? But you're becoming more prominent too. Seltzers or, CBD products or Delta 8 products or some of these other things that are coming up. Maybe they're looking at other options and they're moving away from this. But we didn't see, a direct correlation that went down, we went up.
Neighbors Don't Knock is produced by C&G Communications. C&G specializes in small batch voiceover and video production for commercial media, podcasting, radio, and more.
Combining years of experience in podcasting, acting, and sales, C&G offers big media products at small business prices.
That's right. To learn more, visit their Facebook page or email them directly at admin@cngcommunications.com.
I think it's ridiculous. It needs to be kind of let go personally, but I also am glad to hear that it's not a correlation that is happening there. So,
well, I like where your head's at with your preparation here. As you prepare those, let me ask you a question.
I'm good at just multitasking.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through the social issues. We're gonna answer this. We're also gonna get this next one going on.
We are gonna get this,
but this is one of my favorite sounds, so we got to get this going.
That's a
nice.
good sound.
It is a good sound.
So it brings up an interesting question, though, because as a local business owner here in Houston specifically, and as a craft, is it beer master or just what is the correct term?
Brewmaster, right?
So brewmaster is, I think, an older generic term. Director of brewing operations.
Oh, okay.
Generally, what we look at.
All right.
I'm the CEO over there, so I don't.
All right, so we'll just call it.
I sell the beer.
CEO.
We'll just call it as being, owner, founder, and CEO of a craft brewery. What do you find kind of pulls people's levers locally that take them to or from the brewery? Like, is there anything other than the pandemic, obviously?
So a lot of lessons learned actually from that one. So two-pronged there. So pandemic's kind of its own thing. I'll talk about that in a second. But in general, new beer styles, new products, excitement around programming in general. So we offer now, probably a stable of 6 to 8 beers that you can find in the supermarket, retail, across bars in Houston pretty regularly, right? That being said, about once, twice a month, we try to put out a new style of beer. And
twice a month. Wow. And you said about a 4-week process from...
Yeah, so we're constantly innovating, renovating, doing new things to beer, right?
Wow.
And now I know why you guys had to stop working for NASA.
Yeah, so we can't do it all. So and we're very explorative. So one of our taglines, drink it boldly for the explorers. Like, we're pushing boundaries of beer. We take beer, we add different things to it, and really, try to help cultivate the styles of beers that people might try, but also within styles that maybe they are used to, different variations within that to help peak that. So that honestly is a big piece of getting people into the bar, getting them to try out new things. Again, just seeing what's different from what we can get out at the general marketplace. We can get it back at our place. And then, like I said, programming. So, we have trivia night, we've got loteria, we've got, we had a true crime guy come out just last week.
Get a mentalist.
He brought a polygraph machine with him.
Oh, did he really?
That was kind of cool.
All right.
Checking out, see how it's going. If you didn't hear about it, we did a bad job advertising. So you guys need to help us out with that next time.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
For right now, first of all,
$10 is I can
do you
beat it, by
guys
the way.
advertise on your website? Where do you guys advertise?
Yeah, so I mean, largely through social media.
Okay.
We do broadcasts out there, Facebook, yada yada.
We'll make sure we put the social media links for the Instagram and everything in the episode description, so make sure you check that out. If not, make sure you guys go to trueanomalybrewing.com. Again, link in the episode description.
Absolutely.
Just to check it out.
And I'd like to give a little shout out actually to our friends over at Great Day Houston, because recently I know that you were involved in a very big interview with them and a big tour of the brewery. And since we're not going to get into kind of the ins and outs, the technicalities of brewing in our show, at least, I highly recommend that you all go and check that out. It's really worth watching. It's a really good interview, and we'll put up the link to that in our
absolutely.
as well.
And hello, Great Day Houston. Because we've had several other guests that have been on Great Day Houston, so much love to them as well.
Indeed.
No, they're great. They're great for us. Yeah.
So absolutely.
Tell us a bit about what you just poured.
You had a nice little sound. I'm sitting here holding this, and I'm resisting.
So this is one of 2 bottle offerings we have for a special package this month. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this is called White Dwarf, and it's a stage and a star cycle. So White Dwarf's towards the end there. And this is a Saison infused with white wine, if you will.
So it's kind of like a little cider.
So
No, it's not. Okay.
No. Don't you shut your dirty
I was
mouth.
just,
So, yeah, no.
I'll just drink.
Yeah.
We got along so well up until that moment.
So
What happened,
tell me
Brian?
more about what's been going on in your life. So,
well, it's too bad that I control the board. Click and mute.
So when you say
It's a white wine. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are Gewürztraminer grapes. They have been on a base of Saison re-fermented for about 3 months. Extracts a lot of the flavor profile from the grapes themselves, blends it in with that traditional Saison, right? So this is a kind of blended wine beer amalgamation, if you will. It's the first one we've done. We actually did this one. We did the red as well. That's one we're going to taste shortly hereafter. And this was a collaboration we did actually with a marketing firm called Pennebaker. That's here in Houston. So again, keeping things local. These guys have been doing some really fun, interesting stuff with us. Their team was super excited about getting on board and doing some fun thing with wine. They had some special connections with some vintners that gave us access to the grapes. So
that's very cool.
So we got whole grapes re-fermented over this guy. So again, if you like wine, if you like beer, the marriage of these two worlds in this product and the next one we're going to try, I'm going to tell you, we were very excited about. This, hands down, is top 10. And we've won some medals, we've done some things, but
It's nice.
top 10. This is up there. This is one of
full disclosure.
really
I was,
delicious products.
You dove in.
we've
You dove in.
Yeah, I dove in.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I had no idea
nice.
that was even a possible thing, blending wine grapes with beer.
Yeah.
So I'm quite curious.
Yeah. If you haven't tasted it yet, Brian.
Oh no, I it's very delightful actually.
Yeah.
Nice. It seems like this would be a really nice little summer drink.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is, just because we're in the mix of it,
That's
I'm going to
delicious.
give you the red just so we can keep
Okay.
going with it. We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Right? But just so we can, keep the conversation going.
That is a fascinating mix of flavors. That is delicious. This is
Yeah. So
Red.
so here, what I just got.
Whose
got you
artery
guys,
did you slice
Yeah.
to pour
So
this?
this is the same base, same Saison base. Very Chardonnay looking on the
Here,
white
I'll
Dwarf.
hold them up for
Very light.
for our viewers.
Yeah,
right
very
here.
light,
both
easy.
angles, yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Chardonnay
kinda
on the
see,
white
right?
there. You get rid of that little, very, very nice look. On the
Yeah.
Malbec, so the red is a Malbec, and you can see this
this
is
one
very
right here.
berry. It's very got a nice garnet
Yeah.
type deep redness to it, right? And if you take a taste, right, to even on the nose, the aroma, very berries, black cherry, pomegranate really comes through on this one. I would say between the two, the Malbec, the red grape berry forward really comes through. If you're into,
I like that one.
yeah, if you're into
Wow.
red wine, 100%. This is if we were having a head-to-head competition, this one's leading the pack right now.
Okay.
Although I really enjoyed the other one, the Gewürztraminer. Both of them are excellent in their representation, and I think pair well as you might a red or white dinner pairing, just the same.
this is
And so these are beers though. This is beer, not
51+% malt, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
beer.
So what do they retail for, or what do you guys sell them for? I should say.
So we sell these for $16 a bottle.
Okay.
And they're in 750 milliliter bottles. You can see them right here. I mean, it's the same size format that you would find a wine bottle in.
Okay.
For these.
$16 a bottle.
That's correct.
Yeah, and
wow.
storing them just regular refrigerator, or they need to go in a wine fridge or anything like that.
I mean,
No, just okay. Yeah.
Either one's going to be fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And honestly, just like you would store and age them just like you would wine. So, and the thing with
Really?
these, just the same. They age really, really well. So
The white and the red, or the red better than the white in terms of the aging?
both are going to age very well. So
Okay.
the difference between these beers and the ones I was talking before, again, in the sense of being a food product, that scout, that early young drinking beer, we want to get that while it's fresh.
Yeah.
These guys that are more wine world, I'm gonna try another one with you guys that are bottle conditioned. You can age these beers. You can let them put them on the shelf. They're gonna mature in flavor profile, get a little bit more complex.
Nice.
Well,
nice,
this is
very
a big
nice.
education for me, and I assume that means for some of our viewers and our listeners as well, who have never even known that you can do this. If you're as ignorant as I am, let me ask
So
you:
it's like a
is
new
there
drink for you.
This is trouble. Is there a collector's market for these types of blended beers?
Yeah. So there is. So we're not the first ones to go. Out into this field and see what it looks like. A lot of other people have forayed into it previous to us. Jester King is actually a strong, notable character in the brew industry here in Texas. So they're out of Austin. They're probably going to be the most tenured that have been doing different interesting styles of beers. And I would say outside of Texas, there's probably, and across the nation, probably about 50 breweries or so that do really well, have built a reputation around doing these styles of beers, right? And we're kind of climbing up that list and becoming more notable around these styles, and we'd like to be.
Yeah.
Right?
What? Tell me just a quick little thing about this one.
It's like a labelless bottle. This is very.
It is.
I know. I was like, what is he giving
So
us?
I look. I'm gonna save this one.
It's
for
like
you.
if I pass, if I just fall over.
Your SO is gonna love this for us. So it's 8.5%. It's called Sea of Waves. This is our most award-winning beer, actually.
I don't see the metal on it, so I'm glad I couldn't screw
We
that
don't
one up.
drape all of them in metals, Brian. Just the first one.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So this is our most award-winning beer, actually. It's gotten gold back-to-back years here at the Texas Craft Beer Festival that we were highlighting at the beginning of this. It's gotten gold at the Great American Beer Festival, and it got bronze at the World Beer Cup.
Wow.
That one should be illuminating. That should come with a light on the bottom that just like a disco light. That just,
I don't need a label. I'm badass.
Yeah, and that's why we just hand write it on there, right? Just a sea of waves.
oh, very nice.
Yeah, so that's our, and again for us, and being humble here, I mean, nobody sets out to make a
Is that
beer that's
brand?
going to go do these things. It's
Or
just
did you actually write that on there?
No,
All those
I
bottles?
literally, I took this from the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wrote it on there.
I was like, that's got to be a TD. Whoever got that job drew the short straw.
Yeah.
It's like,
One of 1,002.
So you said,
it's like cussing your name out. I was like,
Guys,
Michael
can't open his hand. You know, it's just like the claw.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about what style of beer this is, because I'm a little clueless on this before I taste it.
This is a barrel-aged golden sour. So it's going to be another product that you're less familiar with. The strains in this are Lactobacillus pediococcus. Those are strains of yeast that are outside of the general strains that we use in some of these clean styles. Anyway, we're getting a little nerdy here. So
I've never tasted anything like this.
Keeping it more
personally.
broad, it's going to be, so lactopedio, lower pH, right? So you're going to get that sour element, right?
Yeah.
And that's where that acidity is coming in. So you're going to get that acidity from it. The barrel aging, you're going to get a little nice dry wood characteristic. And this has a nice little minerality. You would say this is actually a little bit like a Riesling. Again, if you're looking at it from the rice or wine world, you'd say, okay, hey, this has a nice little Riesling characteristic to it, very dry finish. Again, about 8% in ABV, so a little lower than a wine,
but not too funky. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
a clean drinking beer. But let me ask you. So when you say sour, when sour beers were a catchphrase in like the early 2000s, would this fall into that category or?
So no, probably not. So sour beers, we do some sour beers. I have Peggy here. Peggy's a fruited sour. That's the Axiom deal I told you about. That is a lemonade hibiscus ale. And that's going to be like a more sour lemonade. And that's what I would associate with that guy. Nice picture.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah,
Very,
display
very
Peggy,
nice.
display Peggy.
Yeah,
Name, image,
yeah.
likeness.
Peggy, how are you?
Yeah.
You know,
Peggy.
Peggy, you are always welcome on,
I'm
on
saving these
Neighbors
for you.
Don't
We're not
Knock.
going to get to these today, but I'm going to
Sea
save
Waves
these
is
for you
delicious,
guys.
by
So
the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Peggy, we have your beer. You need to come on Neighbors Don't Knock. So we'll have it right here.
Watch out. She's just my very, very, very sweet lady. Yeah. Very nice.
Welcome anytime.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm not. I've never been a massive beer like connoisseur. You know, outside of college, you know, when you drank for, like you were talking earlier,
Quantity.
yeah, exactly, not quality. But I do go when I'm out. I would pay a little bit more for something that is like, well, what am I gonna like? I'm not just gonna order. Just give me that. You know, if it's open bar, I'm taking whatever I feel that at that moment. But if I'm actually paying for something, I'm with you. I'm like, I'm gonna try. Do you do classes?
Like events
for
and classes for beer tasting?
So we've played around both inside, outside. So inside, we do educational stuff. Every month we get together, taste people up on our beers, but also just tasting notes, off flavors, different things, educate them. Outside, we occasionally set some things up. It was a little difficult through COVID. We kind of got out of the habit of doing it. We're looking at doing some more stuff. Food pairing is actually something we've been leaning a little stronger into. And
I was
working
about to ask about that actually, because with these, I was kind of curious. Because I mean, as you taste, you can kind of be like, oh, I would eat this with, I'd have a burger with that, or I would have a steak with that, or fish with that,
Yeah, and that's where 100%. We're leaning a little bit more in that direction. We're working with other places again, Indianola, Cultivari. Where are we doing the American Federal Grill? We have a tasting coming up where, again, we got 5 courses. We've got some different styles of beers. We have your everyday drinker beers, but we also have some things with some acidity in them and some funkiness to them that, opens up the portfolio for the chefs, and they get real excited about it. And then it gives people who are attending the opportunity to try more interesting products from our end. So that's something we've been leaning into, and really, again, getting the market from a different angle to garner interest and understand these different, layers and varieties of beers that maybe they're less familiar with today.
Now, for you guys that want to know more about what's going on and what events they have coming up, you need to make sure you go to their website, trueanomalybrewing.com, and subscribe to their email list and like and follow them on all their social media, and you will be in the know about what is going on. Again, if you don't know where to go, the links are in our episode description, or, just hit us up at neighborsdon'tknock.com or email us at admin@neighborsdon'tknock.com, and we will send you the info straight away. Okay, so we're doing a lot of tastings here, but there's a lot of events that happen in Houston with brewing. You talked earlier, and I want to share this with all our viewers and listeners. What's a big one that goes on every year, and it happens kind of around the same time that Restaurant Week happens?
Yeah, so we actually just kicked off this big event, Houston Craft Beer Month. It happens during the month of August in relation to Houston Restaurant Week. If you're familiar with what they're doing, same concept. Every brewery participating provides a $25 package. $3 of that goes to the Houston Food Bank. And we work with all the breweries to ensure we have a variety of different packages there. Trying to inspire people to get out, try different things, got to collect them all type thing. But, you can go get 10 tackers over here. We can go get a 2-pack over there. We can go get a private tour with an owner, at a designated date. Something to, really get people excited about taking pride in Houston craft beer for, a specific period of time, but also during a period that we traditionally maybe don't see the best of sales, and really just the people coming out. August, generally speaking, and this is essentially why you see Houston Restaurant Week in August, restaurants and bars are really pretty close to tap rooms and brew pubs in the sense that, people are out and about. They're getting their, last summer break travel in. They're getting people set up for school. They're starting school, right?
Yeah.
Jobs are maybe changing. Locations, houses are changing. A lot of people are moving.
Well, and is that the
period.
draw with it being similar? Because it's not, because some breweries, like you guys talked about doing food, and you're not doing food right now, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so if you moved into that, would you now move into the Houston Restaurant Week, or would you stay?
So the beer is more beer focused,
More
right?
beer focused, okay.
At
So
the end of the day,
like bites, like bar bites?
Yeah, Houston
Okay.
Craft Beer Month is really focused on the beer aspect of what breweries are doing.
So
there's
it's,
some
it's
breweries
just
that
them,
have
just them coming, though. It's not like you guys have to make reservations like
No.
Houston Restaurant Week. Okay.
No, and it's a package. So, I mean, again, in the food level, obviously you're coming, you're sitting down, you're having a 3-course thing. Brewery, you show up like you would regularly. Maybe you're going to have a beer sitting at the bar. Here's a cool package that you can take with you. Those 2 beers that we tried earlier. Have those. You get the red and the white. They're normally $16. You get them part of a package for $25. So you get a discount. Great. Get to try a cool new world of things, and Houston Food Bank gets a bit of it. Awesome.
All right. That's a win-win for everybody.
We
in
talked
Houston.
earlier about like points of pride in Houston, and the Houston Food Bank, for all of our listeners and viewers that may not be familiar with it, is an absolutely incredible institution. It is a great point of pride in Houston. It feeds a lot of very, very needy people. So I've always really enjoyed Houston Restaurant Week's mission to help that cause. And you really helped spearhead this for the craft breweries, right? Like this is kind of your baby.
Yeah. So at True Anomaly in general, we've always been looking at what we can do to help. Again, rising tide lifts all ships. Like, what can we be doing? This past year, we came off of a bit of a win at the Houston or the Texas Craft Brewers Festival. Brewery of the Year for Texas 2023.
Congrats again.
Thank you very much. And that was an opportunity, though. We came back and we said, hey, great for us. Of course, we promoted it. We went out, did some announcements, whatever. But then we thought, hey, what can we be doing with this to both bring attention to us, but obviously the city of Houston. So this is for us in part, again, and we started some of these conversations earlier of, bringing pride and attention to Houston. And
Go back
Space
and listen
Center
to part 1, guys.
Yeah.
Go check out part 1 of this episode.
Part of our core values are, being proud Houstonians and why we wanted to establish our place in Houston as opposed to outside of Houston, right? And us winning this is great, but it's a Houston win too. So what can we be doing for Houston? How can we leverage that? This was an opportunity for us to say, hey, we just came off this big win. Let's leverage some of that to get the surrounding breweries all to come together while we have the pulpit for a minute, if you will, right? Coordinate with the Houston Food Bank. So they, we're coming off a win. We got a little bit of attention. We want to do with what these guys are doing. Okay, hey, you guys are something. Let's go with it. And they were great, honestly. I mean, we didn't need to be anything. They would have worked with us. They were great.
It's very
Houston,
cool.
I like
Houston
that.
Food Bank was awesome. Going to talk to those guys, squaring everything's out with them. They couldn't have been easier to work with. And to this day, we're still coordinating with them, on different activities and looking forward to what we're going to do next year.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for doing it. And honestly, to everyone watching and listening, August has come to a close at this point, so you won't be able to do it this year. But for next year, I have no doubt that you all have more and more breweries participating, and it's going to be a really cool deal. So make sure you check it out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
put it on your calendar. Make sure you support your local breweries here in the Houston area and wherever you're listening, whether that be New York, California, all of our neighbors that are not local to Houston, go check out your own local breweries or, find out when that competition is, and maybe you might see True Anomaly Brewing there going for the gold, with that with that Scout. It won't be a silver, be a gold. That's the next step, right? Is there anything in the pipeline coming up that you guys have that you can share with us?
Yeah, I guess exciting news for us coming up, or exciting next thing. We are expanding operations. We purchased another facility. So currently we're off of 2012 Dallas Street there, again, right off of San Emmanuel and downtown Edo corridor. The next location we actually just purchased here in the past year is off of Navigation. So a little further down the original NEFAs, if you're in the Houston area and you're familiar, but about a mile away from our current location. We're hoping to get, we're breaking ground actually this month. So high fives there. Permitting's all good and done. We're, literally starting construction. And then at the end of the month, we're hoping to move production over there and really expand our production line.
That's great.
So look forward to that. And then next year, hopefully around this time, we'll have our second tap room open over there.
All of you guys can be jealous because we're going to continue doing some tasting here. But again, go to trueanomalybrewing.com if you're in the Houston area, if you're traveling. And, for those of you that come from far and wide, the playoffs for baseball and the Astros most likely will be in the World Series. Hopefully I didn't jinx it, but but if you guys are there, we're going to be in the playoffs. So if you happen to travel to Houston, go check them out. It'll be a good time.
And as always, we're going to have every single link in our episode description. But if you have any questions at all for Michael or any of the True Anomaly Brewing team, go ahead and reach out through us. We'll make sure we put you in contact with them. They would love to answer your questions.
Yeah.
That's not true. I didn't sign up for that.
You did.
That's not true.
Well, don't worry. We signed you up.
Might not give you Michael's phone number.
It was implied.
But,
It was implied, right? Always like, follow, and subscribe. Neighbors Don't Knock, wherever you get your podcast, whether it be YouTube or wherever you're listening. We want to wish you guys well. Catch new episodes every Friday with Philip and I and, other great neighbors such as Michael. Learn about our neighborhood as we expand it. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Indeed, Michael, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll see you guys. Peace.
Out.